Students, we have one problem here. So in the previous video lecture, we have discussed about capacitor charging and discharging. When you are connecting a capacitor in series, we have learned what happens in case of charging and as well as discharging. Based on that, we will be solving few problems in this video session. And coming to this problem, we have at a time t is equal to 0, switch S1 is closed and remains closed for a long time and S2 remains open. Initially S1 is closed. Here is a switch S1 and here is a switch S2. At a time t is equal to 0, what is happening here? Switch S1 is closed and S2 is remained open. When S2 is remained open, there will be no connection between the capacitor and 2E battery. When S1 is closed, there is only connection between E battery and this capacitor C, right? And now S1 is opened and S2 is closed. So after this capacitor is completely charged because of this battery E, you are opening switch S1 and you are closing the switch S2. When you close switch S2, there will be no connection with S1. As a result, this capacitor have no effect with this battery E. There is only connection with 2E battery. As a result, this capacitor gets charged due to this capacitor, due to this battery 2E. Okay. So that is what in the question, what he mentioned is, initially switch S1 is closed, S2 is opened. After a long time, S1 is opened and S2 is closed. Now you are supposed to find out the current through the capacitor immediately after that moment. So when S2 is closed, find out the current through the capacitor immediately after that moment. That means when S2 is opened and S2 is closed, what is the current in the circuit? That's what question 1 you are supposed to find out. Next, question 2, what is the charge on the capacitor long after that moment? That means after switch S2 is closed, after long duration, what is the charge accommodated on the capacitor? That's what you are supposed to find in question 2. Next, in question 3, total charge flown through the cell of EMF 2E after switch S2 is closed. What is the total charge accommodated on this capacitor when S2 is closed? These are the 3 questions you are supposed to find. Okay. Now, what is the initial situation? I'll draw another circuit here. So this is first situation. What happens is S1 is closed and here is resistor R. There is battery connected to this capacitor when S1 is closed, and this is capacitor C, and here is EMF E, and this is switch S1. There is no contact or there is no connection with 2E battery in the first situation when switch S1 is closed. Okay. Now when switch S1 is being closed, you can check it up. As this is positive terminal and this is negative terminal, you can simply write here potential is E, and here potential is 0. Okay. Potential here at this point is E and potential here is 0, and out of which there will be some potential dropped across this resistor, and finally there will be some potential difference between the capacitor over here, right? Now I want to find out this charge. Like when you are switching on, initially when you switch on, this capacitor acts as a wire and current will be flowing through the circuit. Current in the circuit initially I is equal to V divided by R. This is E divided by R. This is number 1. So when at t is equal to 0, current in the circuit is equal to E by R. And what about charge on the capacitor? Charge on the capacitor will be equal to 0 when time t is equal to 0. Now after long time, after long time this capacitor is being fully charged, right? As this capacitor is being charged, you want to find out charge accommodated on the capacitor. Charge accommodated on the capacitor Q is equal to C into what is battery connected over here. Battery connected over here will be E, because after a long time there will be no current in the circuit. As there is no current in the circuit, I will be equal to 0 in this resistor. As I is equal to 0, voltage dropped across this resistor will be equal to 0. Therefore, total voltage across the capacitor become OE or 0E. So I hope you have understood the concept, because after long time current in the resistor becomes 0. Therefore, voltage dropped across this resistor becomes 0. Therefore, total voltage is being dropped across this capacitor. Total voltage is E. That's the reason why I am taking Q is equal to CE. That is what actually happening initially. Initially, this capacitor is charged to this value. Let me take this as equation number 2. That is initial situation, right? Just when S1 is closed and S2 is opened. Now come to this question, first question. Find out, you are supposed to find out the current through the capacitor. Please hold on. You should find out current through the capacitor immediately after that moment. So in order to find out current through the capacitor immediately when switch S2 is being closed, what would happen now? After S2 is closed. After S2 is closed, you can redraw the circuit like this. Here is capacitor. This capacitor is already having some charge, and that is a CE. Capacitor is already being charged, it is a CE, and this is connected with switch S2. S2 is now closed, and here is a resistor, and here is battery which is with opposite polarity. Clear? Now, initially upon this plate, charge is CE plus, and here it is minus CE. Therefore, upon this capacitor plate, it is charge plus CE initially, minus CE on the bottom plate. Now, when switch S2 is being closed, here we have potential minus 2E, and here we have potential 0. Okay, so we are because the battery is connected in reverse polarity to the capacitor, so I am considering the potential over here will be minus 2E, right? Now you should find out when the switch S2 is being closed, what does this battery do? This battery will transfer some charge from one of the plate of the capacitor, and finally there comes some charge Q. I want to find out that charge. So final charge on the capacitor Q will be equal to C into E. What is battery here? 2E. Therefore, Q final will be equal to 2 times C E. This is number 3. Final charge on the capacitor after a long duration of switch S2 is being closed, it is 2 CE. But in the question 1, what you are supposed to find out? Current through the capacitor. Now, in order to find out current through the capacitor, what I'll do, I'll just use KVL over here. So whenever I want to find out current in the circuit, I'll be just using KVL. So what I do, start from here, start from point O, go towards this in the anti-clockwise direction. Check it up. First this, what you can write here, minus 2E, minus 2E, and when switch S2 is closed, immediately when the switch S2 is being closed, what would happen? There will be some resistor here and there is some current I. So I will be writing it as minus IR, because voltage dropped across this resistor R, it is IR. Minus IR minus E is equal to 0. Minus E is equal to 0. Why I am taking here minus E? Because the potential across these 2 points, as it is been charged with a battery of E, potential difference across here will be E. Understand that carefully. When immediately switch S2 is closed, capacitor act as a wire, but it is already having a potential difference of E. That is the reason why potential in between these two ends of the capacitor will be E. That's what I am taking here, E. So I can write it as minus 3E. Of course, here it will be plus and minus. You are going opposite to the current, so that's the reason why here it will be plus IR. So minus 3E plus IR is equal to 0. From here you can find out current I, which is equal to 3 times E divided by R. This is answer for the first question. Next. Answer for the first question is completed. And you are now supposed to find out what is in the second question. Charge on the capacitor long after that moment. So after longer time, we have already calculated charge on the capacitor. What it is? The final charge on the capacitor is 2 CE. That's what we have already calculated. Okay. So in the second question, final charge on capacitor is 2 CE. 2 CE, right? And as you are connecting it in reverse polarity, what would happen? The polarity over here gets reversed. So that means finally this will be the, so bottom here you will get minus 2 CE, and here you will be getting plus 2 CE on this capacitor plates, and here it is minus 2E, and here it is E. Sorry, 0. This is 0. So this is what final charge on the capacitor will be, 2 CE, right? That is question number 2. Now coming to question number 3, what is the charge flown through the cell of EMF 2E after switch S2 is being closed? So when switch S2 is being closed, what would happen? There is some charge flowing through this, right? So what is the charge flowing over here? The charge flowing over here, Q transferred, will be equal to 2 times C. This is the charge transferred in this case, right? So this is the final answer for the charge transferred when the switch S2 is being closed after long time. In this question, you have 3 components, students. One is battery, other one is resistor, and the capacitor. So check it up. A capacitor is connected to a 12-volt battery through a resistor of 10 ohm. It is found that potential difference across the capacitor rises to 4 volt in 1 microsecond. Find the capacitor of the capacitor. So in order to do that, first I will draw the circuit. You are connecting one battery along with a resistor and a capacitor. These are the 3 components which are being connected. And this resistor has resistance 10 ohm. Capacitor has capacity some C. I do not know that. You should find out that C value. And battery is having a potential difference of 12 volt. This is the data given to you. And after T is equal to 1 microsecond, potential difference across the capacitor is equal to 4 volt. That is given to you. Now what actually happens when you are connecting these all components in series? What would happen? See, this is a battery. Initially at time T is equal to 0. charge on the capacitor will be equal to 0, potential on the capacitor will be equal to 0. And current is equal to maximum, I is equal to V by R, that is 12 divided by 10. So current in the circuit I is equal to, this is 2, 6, 12, 2, 5, 10, it is 6 by 5 ampere. That is current in the circuit initially, but when time t is equal to 0. Now what would happen if you are going on connecting the key? The charge on the capacitor goes on increases. Charge on capacitor increases with time. So as we have already learned in yesterday's class, charge on the capacitor increases with time by obeying the equation Q of t is equal to Q naught into 1 minus e power minus t by tau. Okay, this is an expression which we have in order to find out charge. Now, as we know, when the charge is being increased over there, what would happen to potential difference across this capacitor? Potential difference also goes on increases because it is function of charge. Therefore, I can simply write potential difference across capacitor Vc is equal to Q of t. V is equal to Q divided by C, right? So capacitor capacity, I am considering it as C. That's the reason why I have to keep here C. But what is Q of t? Q of t is already known to you. So potential in the capacitor after some instant of time can be written as Q naught into 1 minus e power minus t by tau divided by C, right? And this is what is Q naught. Q naught is final charge. And what is the C? C is the final capacitance. As Q naught is equal to C into V. C into what is V here? V is equal to 12 volt. Therefore, what is Q naught divided by C? It is 12 volt. And what about Vc given? Vc is equal to 4 volt at a time t is equal to 1 microsecond. I'll substitute these values here. What is Vc given? Vc is given as 4 volt, which is equal to Q naught by C. It is already known. Final charge accommodated on the capacitor with respect to this battery 12 volt, it becomes 12 volt into 1 minus e power minus t is 1 microsecond. 1 microsecond divided by tau. Tau is equal to CR, right? You can substitute that C into R. Tau is equal to CR, right? This is 4 3 is 12. 1 by 3 is equal to 1 minus e power minus 1 micro divided by CR. And bring this over here. E power minus 1 micro divided by CR is equal to 1 minus 1 by 3. That is 3 minus 1. It is equal to 2 by 3. Clear? Now, just go for log here. Log of e power minus 1 micro divided by CR is equal to log to the base E. This is 2 by 3. And this become 1 micro minus 1 micro divided by CR is equal to log of 2 divided by 3. And from here you can write CR is equal to minus 1 into 10 power minus 6 divided by what is left over there? Log of 2 divided by 3. That is equal to CR. Okay. Now from here you can just write down log of 2 by 3. Like if you evaluate this log of 2 by 3, you will be getting here as minus 1 into 10 power minus 6 divided by log 2 by 3. It is nearly 0.405. That's the value of log of 2 by 3 approximate. And here you can write, of course we are dealing with capacitance. capacitance is a scalar quantity, you need not take this negative sign over there. So C will be equal to 1 into 10 power minus 6 divided by 0.405 into resistance R. And what is resistance value? It is 10. I'll substitute that here. So finally you will be getting, in the denominator it will be 10. That goes to numerator, 10 power minus 7 divided by 0.405. So capacity C, finally if you evaluate this, you will be getting 0.25 microfarad. This is the final value of the capacitor. The capacitor initially is being uncharged, and it is connected across the resistors as shown in the circuit. You should find the charge on capacitor as a function of time if switch is closed at t is equal to 0. So you should find out the value of charge Q on the capacitor as a function of time when time t is equal to 0. Okay, what would happen now when you are switching on this key? When you switch on the key, what would happen? Here it is plus E and this is 0, and here is one resistor, other resistor, 3 resistors are there of equal values. What would happen as you are connecting this capacitor across this potential difference E? What would happen now? Initially at time t is equal to 0, this capacitor act as a wire. So capacitor will be acting as a wire. Now capacitor acts as wire, therefore some current will be drawn from the battery, and that current I am considering it as I. The current I am considering it as I, and come to this point. At this nodal point, when current I comes over here, as there is division because it is node, some current enter into this, it is I1, and remaining current goes into this resistor. I am naming this as I minus I1. And what about current over this? Current over this capacitor is also the same, it is I1. Now as this goes on, like when you switch on this key S, after some instant of time, the capacitor gets charged. Its charge will be increased, and finally this capacitor acts as open switch. So there will be only current in the circuit of this resistor and as well as this resistor. Now what you are supposed to find out? You should find out charge on the capacitor. Q of t is equal to how much? So with respect to time, how does charge vary? That's what you are supposed to find. So for that, what I'll do, I'll name these in order to find out that charge. I'll be using KVL over here, right? So let me name this as A. This point, this circuit, I am naming it as A, and this is B, and this is C, and this is D, and this is E, and it is F. Okay, now take KVL, apply KVL for loop A, B, C, D, A. For this loop A, B, C, D, A, for this loop you apply KVL. Now when you apply KVL for this loop, you can write it as, you are going from, like you are starting from A and you are going from negative terminal of the battery to positive terminal of the battery, so therefore it is E, and current is in the same direction as that of the as that of your path, so it is minus I into R, and here the total potential which you are providing here will be dropped across this resistor and this resistor. Therefore it is minus IR into minus of I minus I1 into R is equal to 0. This gives you E minus IR minus of IR, minus of minus will become plus, I1R is equal to 0. It is E minus 2IR plus I1 into R is equal to 0, right? This is equation number 1. Let me consider that as equation number 1. See, our part is not yet completed. We need to apply KVL. In order to find out the charge across the capacitor, you need to take second loop. Okay, you need to take second loop. Now go for this loop, or you can even take this bigger loop also, no problem with that. So A, B, C, E, F, D, A. A, B, C, E, F, D, A. This total bigger loop I am involving. Okay, so let me take this loop. I'll draw that with green. This loop I am considering. So for loop, that is your wish, Nana. You can even take loop D, C, E, F, D also. No problem with that. So for loop A, B, C, E, F, D, A, bigger loop. So for this loop, I can use KVL. Start from A. You are going in this direction, right? So it is plus E minus. What about here? Voltage is dropped across the first resistor. So it is minus I into R. Next minus. Voltage is dropped across the another resistor. So it is minus of I1 into R. And next is voltage dropped across this capacitor. That will be minus Q divided by C, which is equal to 0. Okay. Now it is E minus IR minus of I1R is equal to Q divided by C. Okay. Now you can eliminate E, or you can eliminate I1, or you can eliminate I. That's your wish. Okay. So what I will do is I'll eliminate I from this equation. So in order to eliminate I, what should I do? I is equal to, from this equation you can write it. So this gives you E plus I1R is equal to 2IR. Now how do you write I here? I will be equal to E plus I1R divided by 2R. Okay. You can take this I over here and you can substitute that, and finally you will be getting only one unknown, that will be I1. Okay, so substituting this I over here in this equation and evaluating this left hand side, you will be finally getting an equation which is EC minus 3I1 into RC is equal to 2Q. Okay, after evaluation. Just take this I and substitute here and evaluate that. You will be getting this expression. I am not doing that mathematics here. So final direct equation I am writing it, and it's your duty to check it. Now from here you can write CE minus 2Q is equal to this 2Q I am bringing to the other side. Then remained this term I am bringing it to the other side. It is 3I1 into RC. Okay, but what is I1? I1 is current in this capacitor. I1 is current in capacitor. Okay, so I1 is variable with respect to time because it is attached with the capacitor. Therefore, I can write it as dq divided by dt. And remember, I is fixed initially, but what about this I1? I1 is variable with respect to time because it is attached with the capacitor. So corresponding to that I1, remaining current goes into this another resistor which is in between C and D. Now I'll substitute that I1 here. CE minus 2Q is equal to 3 into dq divided by dt into RC. Okay. Now I'll just shuffle this. I'll write it as dq divided by CE minus 2Q is equal to dt divided by 3RC. Okay. Now integrate this expression. integration limits are from 0 to q, because initially charge on the capacitor is 0, final charge on the capacitor is q. Initial time it is 0, final time let us consider it as t. From here you can calculate, you should evaluate this integration, and after evaluating this integration, so I'm not doing that evaluation, it take a lot of time, so it is, I'm writing directly ln EC minus 2Q divided by CE is equal to T divided by 3RC. This is after integration and substituting the limits, you will be getting this expression. Okay, from here if you make subject as Q, Q will be equal to CE divided by 2 into 1 minus e power minus 2t divided by 3RC. This is the final expression for charge, which is variable with respect to time. You have one more question, and this will be the last problem of this video. So check it up. You have a circuit given here. At t is equal to 0, SW is being closed. That is, here is the switch, and that switch is being closed. If initially C1 is uncharged and C2 is charged to a potential difference 2E. So yesterday, like we have discussed about charging and discharging of the capacitor. So here we are using two capacitor. Of course, this is capacitor. It's not battery. This is capacitor. There is some printing mistake over there. This is capacitor. Here is a C1 and here is a C2. You have two capacitors. C1 is uncharged. C2 is charged. C1 is uncharged and C2 is charged, and you are connecting, you are at time t is equal to 0, switch is being closed, and this C2 is charged to potential difference of 2E. Okay, so what is charge on C2? Charge on C2 will be Q is equal to CV, right? So its capacity, it is being given as a C into what is potential difference to which it is being charged, 2E. So charge on the second capacitor Q2, that is equal to 2 times CE. Okay. Now you are supposed to find out these questions. First one, charge on C1 and C2 as a function of time. As a function of time, C1 and C2 charges on C1 and C2 will be varied because C2 is charged, C1 is uncharged. What would happen now? C2 get discharged, C1 get charged. Therefore, C1 charge is variable with respect to time. Charge on C2 is also variable with respect to time. You need to find out charge on capacitor C1 and C2 as a function of time. Next, question B, find out current in the circuit as a function of time. Here, current also varies with respect to time. You should find out current in the circuit, which is function of time. And next, question C, also plot the graphs for the relations derived in part A. So in part A, you are deriving charge for C1 and C2, right? So what happens to charge on the first capacitor? What happens to charge on the second capacitor? For that, you need to plot the graphs. Okay. Now you are closing this switch. When you switch on this, the circuit, what would happen? There will be some charge flowing through this circuit. Let me consider the final charge in this capacitor is Q. I am considering that final charge on the capacitor is Q. And remember, this Q is same on C1 and C2 after long time, and that is called steady state. So at steady state, Q is same on both capacitors. Remember that. Okay. So Q is the same, and this is nothing but equilibrium state, where after long duration, one gets charged and the other one is being discharged, and it attain one equilibrium condition. And at that point, I am considering this is the Q charge which is present on C1 and C2. Okay. Now, let me name these loops. Like you can name these loops as A, and here it is B, C, and D. This is B, and this is C, and this is D. Okay. Now start from any one particular point and write down the KVL equation. Current in this will be I, because all of them are connected in series. Throughout this total current is the same, and that is I. And all of these are in series. Therefore, charge on this capacitor will be, charge upon this will be equal to Q. Charge on this capacitor is also Q after long duration. So I am writing KVL now, applying Kirchhoff voltage law. I can write E, start from A, B, C, D, A. Start from A. So you are added with voltage. Potential difference, it is E. That will be dropped across first capacitor. And first capacitor potential is Q divided by C minus. Across this resistor, there is some voltage dropped, and that is I R minus. Across this another capacitor also, there is some voltage dropped. So that will be charge upon this. What would happen now? Charge upon this will be slightly, because it is already initially charged. Finally, it will be attaining some charge. So that I am writing it as Q minus 2CE. That is the final charge on the capacitor C2 divided by C is equal to 0. So I'm finally writing the charge on both the capacitors and applying KVL. From here, you can write down this, like after simplification. Above equation, you can write that expression as 3E minus IRC is equal to 2Q. Okay. And you can write IRC is equal to 2 IRC. IRC comes over here, that is 3E minus 2Q. What is I written as? I is written as dq divided by dt into RC is equal to 3CE minus 2Q. Okay. Now bring dt to the other side, and wherever charge is involved, those terms you bring it to one side. So finally you can write dq divided by 2CE minus 2Q is equal to dt divided by RC. Integrate this expression because they are variable with respect to time. Time taken here is 0 to t second, and charge is 0 to Q, because initial charge on the first capacitor I am considering it as 0, and finally after steady state charge I am considering it as Q. So you are applying those limits to this left hand side. Now evaluate this integration. After evaluating the integration, you will be finally getting this expression log to the base E 3CE minus 2Q divided by 3CE is equal to T divided by RC. So after evaluating the integration, you will be getting this expression. Okay, you cross check that, and this log comes to the other side, it will become exponential, and evaluating that, you will be finally getting an equation which is 3CE minus 2Q is equal to 3CE into e power minus 2t divided by RC. As it is mathematics part, I am not deriving step by step. That mathematics part verification is left to you students. You need to verify that. And this is the expression, like log comes over here, and evaluating this total function, you will be getting this expression. So you can take 3CE common from this. it is 1 minus e power minus 2t divided by RC. Bring this 2q to the other side, that is equal to 2q. From here you can write final expression for charge q, which is 3 by 2 CE into 1 minus e power minus 2t divided by CR. This is the final expression for charge. That is equation for final charge. And remember, this charge will be like final charge will be same on both the capacitors. It is variable with respect to time. So we have got Q. And after that, what you should find out? You should find out current I. What you need to do, simply differentiate this. I is equal to dq by dt. Differentiating that, you will be getting it as 3 e by r into e power minus 2t divided by CR. This is current in the circuit, which is variable with respect to time. And remember, in both the cases, it is exponential change, right? And if you plot the graphs, you will be getting graphs like this. This is time taken t, and upon one capacitor, charge increases, and upon the other, charge decreases. Okay, so you can take charge over here. Let me consider it as q dash, and let me consider it as q. So on one capacitor, it is already on the second capacitor. This is C2. This is for C1. So already it is initially charged. What is its value? It is initially charged and its value is 2 CE. From there, what would happen? It decreases with respect to time up to certain value, which is equal to CE divided by 2. And remember, final charge on both capacitors is not equal to 0. That is the reason why in the first graph, this should not touch time axis. This should be varied only up to a value of CE divided by 2. This is for C2. Next, for C1, initial charge on the capacitor, first capacitor is 0, and it goes on increases up to a value. And what is that value? That value, it is 3 CE divided by 2. Okay, so you can substitute t is equal to 0 and t is equal to infinity in this Q expression, so that you will be getting initial charge and final charges on both capacitors C1 and C2. This is one more important model, and these are whatever problems which we have discussed in this video session. They are very important for very important models for JEE Advanced.